It was Traub's idea to inject animal diseases into ticks, then release the ticks as an army of bioweapons.
Hi guys, this is probably one of the most important videos that I am making, and it's very important that you watch this. When you're having down days, obviously like I look like I am having today, which I am, go in and watch this video and be reminded of why we are feeling this way. I have a hard time because, of course, you know, with a lot of us, we're quite emotional. Every time I watch this, I get extremely emotional. And there's going to be some clips here from Jesse Ventura's show Conspiracy Theory. No, I'm not being paid for anything on this channel. This is just a channel to help people. I'm not being paid to advertise it. I'm going to crop it down into bits and small pieces of how this horrible freaking disease got out. It makes me sick to my stomach, and it makes me kind of sad because not only has it affected a lot of us here in New York, because we obviously are right on the coast of Plum Island. If it is contagious, we go places, we go out of the country, animals migrate, and hence the reason why it is all over the world. And I wish I could say I'm sorry for my government, but I'm no part of my government. My government seems to do what it wants to do like the rest of us here in the U.S. So this is just a little bit of topics of some interesting facts that are bringing me practically to tears trying to talk about it. So without any further ado, as I always say, on to some video footage that maybe some of you have already seen, but those of you that have not seen it, I'm so sorry. All right, guys.
And now I think it's time you get the whole story.
Now, the government's real-life island of horror. A secret biowarfare lab. A stone's throw from New York City and Boston. Mutated humans. A conspiracy of germs, disease, greed.
Well, right now, they are trying to build a couple of the big labs themselves, and they were going to develop animal diseases that spread between animals and humans. Well, after they started getting some flack, they posted this little diseases of interest list that took off most of the scary bioweapons agents.
Are they lying?
I think so, yes.
Really? So
yes.
the Department of Homeland Security is being untruthful with the American public and what they...
That's what I think.
Kenneth King spelled out the conspiracy. Bioweapons research masquerading as animal research. Germs and viruses that are supposedly restricted to animals crossing over to humans. And the labs themselves letting all kinds of germs and bioweapons escape into the air, into your neighborhood. Since 9/11, the government's been opening germ labs all over the country, supposedly developing drugs and vaccines to protect us against bioterror. But he claimed these labs, our labs, could kill us all.
There were a whole bunch of things, some of it very reckless. We have a clear indication that accidents are occurring regularly. They're being concealed from the public because the biodefense industry does not want the American public to become concerned about their activity.
The Nazi scientist behind the Plum Island experiments.
When did Plum Island become what it is today?
After World War II, there was a Nazi scientist, a guy named Eric Traub, and he figured he would set up off the coast of Long Island this sort of germ warfare lab he ran during the war to develop insects, ticks, and so forth for biological warfare.
In Germany, Eric Traub worked for Heinrich Himmler, who ran Hitler's Gestapo and SS. It was Traub's idea to inject animal diseases into ticks, then release the ticks as an army of bioweapons. Is it as secure as it should be for something as sensitive as this?
Absolutely not. Now, Plum Island is a sitting duck. The ferry to Connecticut goes right past it. It's totally exposed. I mean, and I'm not giving ideas to anybody because, in fact, folks with connections to Al-Qaeda have been found with information dossier on Plum Island.
Carl Grossman wasn't exaggerating. Ifia Siddiqui is a Pakistani scientist who was named one of the 7 most wanted Al-Qaeda fugitives. Lady Al-Qaeda, they called her. When she was captured in 2008, she was carrying handwritten documents about a, quote, mass casualty attack and a list of targets, including Plum Island.
Jesse Ventura is headed across Long Island Sound toward Lyme, Connecticut. This is the town that gave name to Lyme disease, the debilitating chronic ailment spread by tick bites. Some say Lyme disease was created on and escaped from nearby Plum Island.
He came down with Lyme disease about 15 years ago. Then he began investigating and found evidence it was created by the government. What has Lyme disease done to you?
Destroyed me. I used to run 2.5 miles a day. I'd hit the police gym every morning on the way into work, and bench pressing, weightlifting, and I got to the point where I couldn't walk 0.3 of a mile before I just collapsed and gave out. I forgot how to add, couldn't add 13 and 13 on paper. It'll attack any part of your body. It's like standing by the river and throwing in a handful of confetti. When it hits the river, it just fans out. It goes through your veins, and wherever it ends up, liver damage, it's incredible.
You believe Lyme disease was created, correct?
We found so many things, like, for instance, the strain is patented by the Department of Defense. I have the patent here for it.
Let's get down to layman's terms. This is our government doing biological warfare?
I would say.
Plum Island. Is that where you believe all this takes place?
I have papers where they infected ticks. They were infecting ticks with all types of viruses. And
for what purpose would they say that they were doing that?
Well, it's like a military type installation, and they don't usually do things to help people.
Right.
They don't usually
Anything
do things
the
for your
military is
benefit.
involved with is death and destruction.
Yeah.
Randy, they're doing these experiments on Plum Island. You pretty much prove that with your documentation. How would the infected tick get off the island?
A few months out of the year, the current is blowing in towards shore. But I read they did outdoor experiments infecting the ticks, leaving them outdoors. And, birds fly back to shore. Migration's going throughout the country, different areas.
One tick, one flock of birds flying from Plum Island to the mainland can carry an army of these natural warriors. And if there's any question that Lyme disease is a weapon, it turns out that Randy Sykes found the smoking gun. A document from 2005 in which the feds list the bioterror agents they were working on at Plum Island and other labs.
Anthrax, tularemia, cholera, desert fever, Lyme disease. I mean, they're all talking about biowarfare, and Lyme's listed every time. So they're the ones saying it's biowarfare.
So this is clearly bioterrorism or biowarfare. And it seems we're using our own people as guinea pigs. Randy, in your opinion, what should be done with Plum Island?
If it wasn't so close to the East Coast, they ought to nuke it.
Randy Sykes' information put everything into perspective. If infected ticks could cripple 3 million people, imagine what else is out there. June had found her connection in Manhattan, Kansas. That's where they want to move the Plum Island lab and make it bigger and more dangerous. Professor Tom Manny is leading the fight to stop it.
I think it's a bad idea to move it off of Plum Island or anywhere onto the mainland because of the foot and mouth disease, because it is such a deadly virus. Deadly not in the sense that it kills, but in the sense that it takes so few virus particles to infect animals. Consequences of an infection are just horrendous for the whole economy because it immediately shuts down export of beef to the rest of the world.
We are in the heart of Tornado Valley, aren't we?
We are. I haven't heard them provide any data that they've designed this to have those door seals withstand the pressure drop of a tornado. And some of the releases at Plum Island have been from the failure of those door gaskets.
So let's say there was an outbreak of foot and mouth.
Yes.
It could easily be transported to the rest of the country, couldn't it? From
Oh,
here?
yes. Almost any outbreak would be a worst-case scenario because as soon as it was detected, which could be a week or two, then this whole area, 3, 5 miles, whatever they decide, would be quarantined. The animals would be slaughtered. I've heard the number of 400,000 in the whole county area.
What was your job here?
My job was in the bio level 3 containment laboratory.
You got fired.
Yes,
correct?
I did.
What did you do to get fired?
I had interrupted a meeting in the administration building that was attended by the then acting director for Homeland Security, Senator Clinton's New York manager, as well as other representatives, aides, and environmental groups.
And you interrupted their meeting, and what did you do?
I asked to speak because I had safety issues that I've observed on Plum Island, and I wanted to discuss them with them. There was no level of security monitoring inside the bio-containment area.
So you brought these facts up, and you were fired over it.
Yes, sir. I felt that for the safety of the people that work there, for the people who live in this community, and for our country, that these things had to be told, even if it meant my job.
Jim McCoy knew where all the bodies were buried, and where bodies and bioweapons may have escaped. What are those buildings right there?
They used to keep their livestock in pens there. And there was talk when I worked at the lab that a cow that had been injected with the virus got out and got into the pen with all the other cows. And they had to kill all the cows. The long building with all the stacks sticking up,
Yep.
that is the biocontainment laboratory.
Okay.
In the event of a power failure to the island, the generators will kick on. And that is something that didn't happen in December of 2002. There was a period of 4 hours that they lost power from the mainland. During this time, they had no ventilation to the biocontainment area to ensure that the viruses would be kept in a negative pressure.
Pretty dangerous.
Yes. The people were going around putting duct tape around the outside doors on the biocontainment area and trying to contain whatever might be getting out into the atmosphere, but duct tape doesn't stop viruses.
You know, I find it very, very interesting. I'm a former governor, a former mayor, a former Navy SEAL with a top secret security clearance, yet I can't go on Plum Island. I get the Coast Guard tailing me. I get vehicles along the shore watching our every move. Where I come from? If you're the one paying the money, that makes you the boss. How come we, the people, aren't the boss anymore?
Before I end this video, guys, I wanted to throw this in there. Thank you so much, Keela, for sending me this Valentine's card online. You are an absolute sweetheart. And if this page and these videos only get out to one person that I do on Bartonella, it's well worth the while to see such sweet people like this. Thanks again.